UFC Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez is scheduled for this weekend. I'm going to give my full card predictions, and yeah, this card is kind of meh. It is kind of average, but it does have some sneaky good matchups on the card. So yeah, let's just get straight into the predictions. Let's not faff around. So let's just get straight into the first fight of the night, which is Jordan Levitt versus Yadir Del Val. I fucked that one up really badly. Jordan Levitt is obviously moving down to 145, and I'm still choosing Del Val. I just think he's better. He's bigger. Like, he is huge for the division. Like, you should see this guy's back when he's throwing strikes. You can literally see every single fucking muscle tendon in his back. Yeah, he has really good takedown defense. And I think if it does come down to like who is the better grappler, we have seen Jordan Levitt get out-muscled in the grappling. I know we can always go back to, well, he's fighting 155ers. Yadir's not a 155er, but my thing is, it doesn't really matter because he's so huge for 145. He may as well be a lightweight. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. And as well, like, Del Val doesn't have the worst record in the world. Like, he's 10-0, obviously, but, like, I was going through it, and he's beating people like Michael as well, who's in the UFC, who actually fights Luke Riley on the London card. So that tells me he wasn't fighting complete bums when he was moving up. But, yeah, I just think, because Jordan Levitt is really good in the scramble, but, like, it's just, like, I just think Del Val is just going to be able to just out-scramble him just with pure strength. And yeah, and it's like he's very technical, but he's also really fucking big. That's one fucking thing you notice about him. But yeah, I am going with Del Val, and I'm going to say he's going to get a decision here. He's going to get a decision. I think that's the thing. As well, he has a powerful kick too. He is a southpaw. He's got some powerful kicks on him. He was going kick to kick with that last guy he was fighting. But yeah, let's just move on before I forget what I'm going to say. On to the next fight, which is Jean-Paul Libanosi, making sure I said that one right, because I do get shit for not knowing the fighters' names, and Phil Rowe, which I don't quite understand because I'm going to put the fighters' fucking PNG on the screen anyway, so just shut up. If you're such a hardcore, you should be able to look at them and be like, I know who that is, so shut the fuck up. I am going with Libanosi. I was trying to be fucking different at first. I was like, you know what, I'm going to choose Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe's not that bad and just be kind of different. But, like, on second note, I was really watching Libanosi's Contender Series fight because he was getting kind of pieced up before the head kick he landed on him. But then I'm kind of like, yeah, the thing is, Phil Rowe does not strike like that. He looks lost on the feet. He doesn't know what he's doing on the feet, pretty much. When someone comes in, he doesn't throw a counter over the top. So, he has a complete different, like, style of fighting to the guy fought in the Contender Series. The Contender Series guy was kind of like they were saying he was more of a karate guy, but he looked more like a K1 guy. Yeah, just no counters. Like, yeah, it's hard for me to explain, but as Libanosi would pressure in, he would kind of like his opponent would kind of just catch him on the when he's coming in, and it was kind of keeping him on the back foot for a bit, and then he landed the head kick, which was kind of fluky, but he got the kick thing. He was getting very much pieced up in that first round before landing it, but yeah, it was a nasty KO, probably one of the deadliest KOs I've watched in a while. I forgot that even happened until I saw it. I was like, oh wait, it's that guy, and yeah, Libanosi's gonna win. He's going to pressure Phil. He's going to hurt him maybe. He probably even grapples him because we just seen him get out grappled. I know he's a brown belt, but that means nothing in MMA. But we've seen him get laid on top of by multiple opponents now. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think Phil Rowe's UFC level. But prove me wrong. How about that? But anyways, on to the next fight, which is Ramiz Brahimaj versus something Serrano, right? I really don't know. I really don't know at all. Brahimaj has been like they've both fought shit opponents. Let's be real, they both fought like Mickey Gall is one of them. That Kazakhstan guy who can't grapple at all, like in the slightest. It's like he doesn't grapple train at all. They've got shit pawns in between them, is the point. I'm gonna go with Serrano just because, like, at least he's like a good grappler, and it's like he's got like Brahimaj has got 2 guillotine wins. When you try and do a guillotine on Serrano, he connects his body lock and he slams you on your fucking head. I don't think he's going to be able to get that exact guillotine on Serrano, but I can already sense the upsets coming on this card, so I don't really want to make any definite points because I'm going to look like a fucking idiot when it turns out to be false. But I'm going to go with Serrano. I just think he's going to be able to grapple him, keep him down, hold him there, avoid those guillotines, and yeah. And even if not on the feet, seems better on the feet too. So, yeah. I think Serenio. Have I been saying that wrong? Is it Sorenio or is it Serranio? I don't give a shit, right? That guy, the Mexican immigrant that ICE is gonna collect after the event he's gonna win. Moving on to the next fight, we know we don't do women's fights on this card, so it will be Alden Correa versus Louise Gruel. Alden, he kind of got a win in his last fight because his opponent basically, I don't even know if he broke his foot. I think he cut his foot and it was bleeding, and he kind of just quit up against the fence and just let himself get TKO'd. I don't know what that was about, but throughout the fight he did look pretty technical. The first fight he was kind of like switching his stances, kicks, boxing. It was pretty good. That's what you like to see. Next round he basically grappled him, but I do think the last half of that round, I think I remember this now, he did get his back taken or something like that happened. But it doesn't really matter because he's fighting Louise Gruel, who is kind of shit. He just is. I don't know. I really don't know what he's trying to do out there sometimes. He's just kind of stood there, big fucking short misses. I think before in his last fight against, what was his name? That guy who's also really shit. Aguilar. It was Aguilar. They were both throwing combinations outside of range of each other, and it was like liver hook, right hand, left hook. But none of them landed, and they were like 50 kilometers away from his opponent. I'm like, what the fuck's that about? So yeah, I will be going with Alden Correa, and I think he wins by any means necessary. I'm going to say decision, but I just think he wins. I was watching them both, and I was like, I don't even need to break this one down. This is pretty simple. But like I said, I can feel some upsets coming on this card. And we're not doing women's fight predictions anymore. I cannot be arsed. Watching their fights is like trying to watch fucking paint dry or grass grow. It's fucking awful. So we're not doing that anymore. Instead, I'm just going to ignore them. Don't exist in my eyes. When they come on, it's pizza time, like I said before. But let's move on to the next fight, which is Odi Osborne versus Elibi Idris. And I'm actually going to go with Odi Osborne. I know. Odi Osborne is probably one of the worst and best fighters ever. But I rewatched that Steve Erceg fight, and I was like, Steve Erceg legitimately beat Pantoja in that fight. And if you don't think that, you're dumb as fuck and you don't know how to score fights. And I'm like, well, if Odi Osborne was able to drop Steve Erceg and have a lot of success in that fight, I don't know what's happened to him between the Steve Erceg fight and whatever fight was before that, but he must be doing something. If that means he's training harder, if that means he's now on steroids, if that means he's fucking found Jesus or something, who knows? But he must be doing something right to do something like that, right? And you could legitimately argue that Odi Osborne won that fight against Steve Erceg. I don't think so. I think Steve Erceg barely got the win. But man, if you really wanted to, if you had a certain bias, you could score that fight to Odi Osborne. Um, and Olivier Idris is actually pretty good. He's alright. He fought that Morales guy who fought Davison Figueiredo on his debut. He's going to be a problem in the division moving forward. But like, yeah, Olivier Idris isn't bad himself. So yeah, I am going to go with Odi Osborne though, because I do think this is going to take place on the feet, and I don't think there's going to be no grappling. If there was grappling, maybe I would go with Idris, but I haven't really seen much of him to choose him, if you get me. I've only seen him really get out-grappled and bummed by that Morales guy, so yeah, I haven't really got much of a choice but to choose Odi Osborne, which could backfire on me, because maybe he just had a really good performance against Steve Erceg, when in reality he was fucking, I don't even know what. I know it was short notice, that's all I can remember. But yeah, let's move on. 2. Chide Junakawani versus Carlos Leal. I'm actually going to do a risky pick here, and I'm going to choose Junakawani, because I do just think he's a bad stylistic matchup for Carlos Leal, who fights like a welterweight Henry Cejudo, with his hand out in front, with his chin like showing off like a silver platter, just dangling there, just getting ready to get popped. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good match. As well as just, Chide is just really fucking long, isn't he? He's just really long. That push kick is going to be a nightmare for Carlos Leal. And it's not like, and as well, we know the weaknesses of Chide. He cannot grapple, but Carlos Leal doesn't grapple that much. He's more of a striker. Doesn't grapple that much. He might do in this fight, which would make sense, but I just don't think he is. And if he does, he's going to have to get past the range. And I just think Chida's just going to piece him up on the outside, and just, you know, it's going to be one of them typical performances where he's going to piece him up on the outside and then get the finish in like the second round or something at the end of the second round. But yeah, I missed making these ones quick, because nobody really cares about Chide Junakawani versus Carlos Leal. So yeah, but I think some of the next ones are kind of fun. So I lied. It's actually the next 2 fights, and then the fun fights, or the fights that we actually care about, are on. But the next fight is Zachary Reese versus Michel Pereira. And I'm just going to be short and simple with this one. When Michel Pereira shows me more than a minute's worth of cardio, then I will choose him to win a fight. Yeah, that's simple. He doesn't have cardio, so I'm not choosing. I'm not risking it. Although this is a very alluring pick, I kind of want to pick him. He's gonna fucking flop it after a minute. Literally, all Zachary Reese needs to do is hold him against the fence for a minute, and then he's gassed out, and then he can just take over and do what he likes. It's that simple. And then we'll move on to the next fight, which is, what was the other fight? Jacob Smith versus some guy who's taking it on short notice. I'm making this one quick too, that's why I am not doing it separate fight by fight, audio recording. I'm just going to jump straight into it. I am choosing Jacob Smith because I always like to choose the guy in a full training camp, except from the guy who beat Malcolm Wellmaker at one point. But Harold is pretty good. But I just think you need a full training camp for Jacob Smith. So Jacob Smith will win. Yeah, and then Harold's, it'll be kind of like the Diego Lopez Evloev thing, where they were both, you know, he came into the UFC, and now they're both ranked in the top 5. Or even though I don't think they'll get to rank top 5 just yet. But yeah, as in Jacob Smith and Harold, that they won't be in the top 5 just yet. You know, I need to see a bit more before I start saying statements like that. But yeah. So on to the next fight, and this is where it starts getting a little bit fun. We've got Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija, who actually trained to Tom Aspinall. And I am going with Ante Delija. I think he kind of fluked Waldo says Costa fluked that win. Sorry, he just did. The adrenaline dump, everything. You got poked in the eye, but I tried to look for a replay. It wasn't, but I was skipping through it, so maybe I missed it. But like, there was no replay either. Yeah, it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it wasn't an eye poke, but like, he fluked it. He should have lost that fight. It should have been over. Maybe a DQ if you wanted to, but I think we should only give them DQs out towards people that we don't like, such as Dagestani fighters and boring grapplers in general, like Jailton Almeida. How lovely it was to see him die the other weekend and just get battered on the feet. It was very fun to watch. But yeah, I just think Ante Delicia's going to win. It's going to be a very vintage performance. You know, the one he had in his debut is going to be very similar to that. Spivak legitimately got knocked out by Jailton Almeida. That tells you all you need to know. Jailton Almeida knocked you the fuck out. And I think that was at 311. Unless I'm just completely fucking wrong, but I believe that was at 311. So, yeah. That was such a forgettable fight, by the way. I remember going for his record and like, they fought? What the fuck? When did they fight? And, yeah. But yeah, I'm choosing Ante Delija. But now we're on to the co-main event, which was Costa versus Dan Ige. Finally, they are giving Costa a ranked opponent, because he deserves it for being so active and getting mostly finishes, I believe. He's also really fucking good. He's like a very good prospect in the 145 division, I believe. Yeah, if you don't know, I am choosing Costa. He's just more active, he's just better, he's a grappler. Dan Ige gets taken down basically every fight now. Yeah, he got taken down by Bryce Mitchell, who's now a 135er, and I've always said that Bryce Mitchell should go down to 135, by the way. Just thought I'd tell you. And, yeah, you could argue he won that fight, but, like, he was still getting taken down a bunch, and Costa isn't exactly small for the division. In fact, he's kind of tall and girthy. That's what she said, but like he is tall and big. So yeah, he's basically, you know what? He's basically like a lightweight out there. There's a lot of them like that look like lightweights, but they fight 145. There's a lot of them like that. But I do think Costa's just gonna be just levels above. I really do think he's gonna be a problem in the division moving forward. So I will be choosing Costa. I don't know how to say his his first name for the life of me, but I do know how to say it. But like I slur it a lot, and it comes out really shit. So I just avoid saying it at all costs and avoid looking like a monk. So yeah. But now it's time for the main event. So we're finding out the main event of Sean Strickland and Anthony Hernandez, and I can already wait for Sean Strickland at like the media day, and he's gonna be like, "We're gonna go to the death for you fucking guys, man, for you fucking guys," and he's just gonna jab and teep his way to a very, very close split decision, and I can already see the split decision coming. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Anthony Hernandez here. I think the game plan to beat Sean Strickland is already out there. Drickus has kind of exposed that he cannot fight on the back foot, and it's not like as if Sean Strickland has the power where he can stop you from coming into the front foot. He doesn't. He's not Ngannou. He's kind of weak for the division, even though he probably couldn't go down to welterweight again. I don't think that could ever happen. But even through his career, as early as Kamaru Usman, when he fought Kamaru Usman, powerful wrestlers, they're just an issue for him. And I'm not saying Hernandez is like some fucking knockout artist, but like, he is quite literally kind of powerful. Like, he was coming forward against Dolidze, which Dolidze is known for his power, and it's like, if he's coming forward against Dolidze, who is known for his power, what's Sean Strickland really going to do? Throw a jab cross and a teep? Which I do think that teep's going to be an issue for Hernandez, but I think as well it could be an issue for Sean Strickland, because he has not fought someone with the chain wrestling as for Anthony Hernandez. I think he would use that teep to take him down. I really do think at a certain point he might hurt him with a teep, but then he might get taken down from that very same teep. So that is going to be like a 50-50 weapon he's going to use. He's going to use it, and he's either going to get taken down from it, or he's really going to hurt him with it. And we know Anthony Hernandez is weak to the body anyway. We know that's just a problem he's had against like Arnold Allen. Am I for real? Brendan Allen. And yet even in that fight there was like scrambles and stuff. But I do just think Sean Strickland his game is out there. We know how to beat him. You put him on the back foot, and you thingy him. You punch him. You make him too defensive, and then you shoot for the takedown. He'll probably defend it, but it's not like Anthony Hernandez is going to be that bothered about shooting one takedown. He doesn't shoot one takedown. He shoots multiple takedowns. Like against Delidze, he was shooting takedowns just to make Delidze think about it. There's just too many things for me to choose Sean Strickland to comfortably win. Like, the only thing I can really choose Sean Strickland with is that his teeth might hurt Anthony Hernandez. Then what? Because his boxing isn't all that. Let's be honest. His boxing's really not all that. It's like a jab and a cross every couple minutes. And it's like, you look through the split decisions. Split decisions in Sean Strickland's career. There's so many of them. And that shows me as well that if there's a fight where it's close, really fucking close, and let's say it's 2-2 going into the 5th round, such as like the Drickers fight, and one fighter needs to show that they're the best, even though Strickland did win that 5th round, he's going to lose it. And I know for a fact they're going to say, well, Strickland won the 5th round against the Drickers. I know he did. But what that shows me is he's already lost at the first 3 rounds, for example. He has to get a finish in the last 2 rounds, doesn't he? So that doesn't show he's going to push that much. As well as the other split decisions he's had. He hasn't really pushed for it. It was like that one fight, and he's pushed for it in the last round. The rest of them, not really. But, yeah. He didn't really push for it at all in the other fights. But against Drickus he did. But yeah, you kind of need something for whereas Sean Strickland can't just come forward. I don't think Hernandez is like the most powerful guy, but he was rocking Delidze in moments. I'm just saying, he did rock Delidze. And we are forgetting that Sean Strickland is like one of the best 185ers. He beat Imavov, who is probably gonna, like, he is probably the guy to beat Chimaev. The more I keep watching Imavov fights, the more I'm like, this guy's a great chance. This guy has a really good chance. But yeah, I'm gonna go leave that one there. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and yeah, I'm gonna try and stay consistent with the channel now, because yeah, I need money to provide for my Minecraft dog and cat. So yeah.